Spare me 2 seconds while I. Thank everybody. I welcome everyone to the full council meeting, including members, officers, and any members of the public who may be attending remotely. Please be advised that the meeting will be live streamed and data collected during the recording of the meeting. Council's data retention policy. The recording of the meeting may be added to the council's website. The following staff are in attendance: Chief Executive, Monitoring Officer, Democratic Services, the Director of Operation and Neighbourhoods is in attendance. If the alarm does sound, emergency evacuation procedures, agenda item 1. If the alarm does sound, be using the doors signed as fire escapes and assemble in the car park at the front of the building and await instructions. If there is anyone in attendance, fire assistance in the evacuating building, let themselves be known now. Item 2, apologies for absence. I invite the Chief Executive to give apologies, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We've received apologies from councillors Bowen, Carnell, James, Jays, Claire Martin, Andy, Richard Palmer, Christine Palmer, Councillor Worcester. Some of these members are joining us online but will not be able to vote. Thank you.
Any others? Yes.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Apologies from Councillor Tara No, who's on vacation in Canada at the moment.
Thank you. Agenda item 3. Minutes of the last meeting. Do members approve the minutes of the council meeting held on 21st June 2023, minute numbers 119 to 126 as a record, the correct record? All agreed? Agenda item 4, declarations of interest. Do any members have any interest to declare? That's a no. Item 5. Former Mayor honouring Alderman Ken Ingleton. Sadly, members were saddened by the recent death of former Mayor and current serving councillor honouring Alderman Ken Ingleton. Is displayed for members to write their tributes, and members were all emailed funeral details terms earlier this week. Right, Councillor Andy Booth to lead the tributes to. I'll call each other person that's asked to speak. Mr. Booth, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Please bear with me. Great sadness that I stand here in this arena to express my deepest sympathies. Passing of Councillor Kenneth John Ingleton earlier this month, who represented with me residents of Minster. Sadness is deeper because earlier this year I found myself again speaking following the sudden and tragic loss of a good friend and fellow councillor, Councillor Cameron Beard. We shared the cases, the honour and responsibility to represent Large Sheppey. Madam Mayor, truly tough times. I met Ken when I first became involved with local politics almost 20 years ago. His appetite to help me and guide me was and still remains a strength that makes me proud to have known and worked alongside Ken. We shared ideas, thoughts and strategies for our residents. We laughed and often saw the lighter side being a councillor Aren't many like the sites, but we found them. Ken had a rich and unsurpassed life, working and being a politician in Swale, in particular, of Sheffield. First elected to the council in 1979, he was actively involved in many committees. Our mayor twice, gained the honour of becoming an honorary alderman. Ken's appetite to become involved with voluntary roles, helping out with his considerable and encyclopedic knowledge of almost everything. This showed itself with his associations with schools, Rotary Club, political platforms, community centres, parish councils, historic societies, and a few. Ken would often recall some of those early days. In fact, nobody here will remember. 1970s days of Swale Council, when it included Swale Rural District, Queenborough in Sheppey, Sittingbourne and Faversham. His younger life, Ken had the ability to turn his hands to many a varied subject, whether it's helping repair a combine harvester, helping lambing on the farm, or his appetite for DIY maintenance on his car. A little thrifty with his cash. Technical prowess and sheer aptitude came a close second to his often described as hooligan driving skills. Akin to a hardened RAC rally driver, Ken Woodby McRae managed to turn over at least 2 cars on the Isle of Sheppey. I can't tell you where they were, but the roads are still as bad. Calling the events and laughing them off, Ken would say that was part of my life's tapestry. A friend of mine told a story of Ken I need to share. Following an evening's pub visit, Ken was a strong supporter of the pubs, not only on Sheppey, but further in Kent. After this excessive night, should we say, after this excessive night, let alone taking of some considerable ale, Ken was bizarrely overtaken by some local witchcraft, rendering, not me to speak, rendering him unable to speak coherently, guide another pint glass to his lips, or even stand up. Somehow, his friends managed to get him home through his front door. That was all really good, they thought. When Ken was seated in his comfy armchair, dozing, no, fast asleep, only then for his friends to be attacked by geese that Ken kept in his house as his burglar alarm. Again, Madam Mayor, they lived, laughed, and escaped to tell the tale. Ability to ground overexcitable council conversation, to offer straightforward thinking, that will be really missed by a lot of people here tonight. As will his blend of unique humour, who actually cracked through the outer casing and had a very wicked sense of humour. I'm glad to have been part of. And was also a powerful force in the chair and didn't take kindly to unruly behaviour or backchat. On a couple of occasions, I've even seen Ken stand from the chair to regain order in this chamber. Strengths, Madam Mayor, that sadly are missing in some of the forum today. Such a shame that over the past years, we have lost such talent. He joins Ricky Barnicott, Mark Bradford, Don Jordan, Anita Walker, Mark Ellen, Colin Prescott, Lynn Taylor, and of course, Keith Ferry. I guess the call was just too strong. The funeral will be held on Monday, the 31st of July at St Mary and St Sexburger, Minster Abbey. And I'm confident it will see a gathering of many people who loved and shared the occasional pint with Ken. Above all, totally respected Ken and for what he stood for. I know there'll be lots of words and messages of condolence to his wife, Mick, and his daughter, Charlotte. I am honoured to have shared time learning from a past master.
Looking good, sympathy.
In paying tribute to Ken, I'd like to start by headlining his commitment and dedication to public service and the passion that he held for his community and those of the wider borough, particularly when in his role representing us as mayor, as Councillor Boo said twice. I know that it was said many times, and in fact already has been, but we are also deeply saddened to hear of his passing. He was one of life's true gentlemen, a man of the people, and he was held in great esteem, respect and affection by all of those who knew and worked with him, irrespective of political allegiance. Ken had time for everyone, and his warmth and dedicated service touched so many people's lives. I think it's fair to say that all of those who knew him in this chamber would deem it an honour and a privilege to have worked alongside him. Some, of course, for far, far more many years than I have. He was indeed an incredible person, one of a kind, and he will be greatly missed, that's for sure. In closing, our thoughts are very much with his family and his wife, Nick, at this very, very sad time. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think when we took power in 2019, there were a lot of new councillors who know what being a councillor meant, didn't know what it involved. Ken was one of those who provided a role model for those new councillors. He showed that you didn't work along party lines. Coming here, treat this like a chamber of a war chamber. And he has been an inspiration for a long time. Still linked to this council's past. He here before the cabinet system came in, and he knew how to make things work. And he was an absolutely essential part of the Constitution Working Group. We'd be having our debates and a bit dry. Article 2.61a subsection 2 paragraph B. He would still be able to jolly it up. He would have a whole back catalogue of examples, humorous examples of where things didn't go right and how they did go right. He really helped us when we tried to set up the area committees. He remembered what they'd been like previously. He was able to say what they could do. He was able to say how they could work. When we were sitting there working with a concept he had a tangible experience, shared it. It's through him that we got the area committees working. It's through him that we helped move to a committee system. But he was quite open from the start, and he didn't like the cabinet system, didn't like it when his own party were in, didn't much like it when we were in. He helped us move to the committee system and get it right. He's always there. If I wanted to say, what the hell does this mean? What the hell did that work? He'd tell me. He would know, he would have had experience of it. And that was so useful moving on and transforming this council. Most in-depth time I chatted with Ken, was at the Court of the Sittingbourne Carnival Queen. I went along to that. Not sure about this. And I sat there with Ken and this partner. And that's when I just heard about how carnivals have been over the years, how actually they have a really beneficial role, but it isn't, as some of us might have thought, the Carnival Queen's a relic of the past that should move on. And I was able to understand things from a different perspective. When I went to Minster Parish Council, and I had to go there a few times, he was always welcoming, he was always jolly, he always had stories. Those stories, as Councillor Boover said, were warm, much like Ken. And I'm really glad that he's still again. There was a time when I don't think he was going to stand. And I said to him, oh, we'll miss you as council. We will be a much poorer council without you. I was glad that he stood. I think that it's right that he passed being a councillor, because he has been a stalwart of this council nearly ever since it began in '74. And with his passing, I think we've lost really warm, knowledgeable, great character. I know Sheppy has too. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Mike.
I met Ken just shy of 35 years ago, over 1989, when I joined this council at the by-election. To hit the ground running, you have to find out how things work. You know who's worth listening to and who isn't. And it was clear that very early on, Ken was one of the people who stood out, very worthwhile listening to. I said three things on Ken. First, I saw his absolute honesty when he was raising any topic. Saw very quickly that he never let party politics get in the way of trying to do something good, fail. And thirdly, boy, did I quickly learn that it's about Sheppey. Or more slowly, we didn't see too much of him in Faversham, but I was working on Sheppey at that stage, and you would see him. Those are the three things which really I remember and will carry on remembering about Ken. On and off, because we both left the council and came back on again. For pretty well 30 years, he was friendly, always helpful, and always
Henderson. Can I ask councillor Roger Clark to speak then, please?
I shall never forget the kindness that Ken showed me when I was his deputy mayor. For as many local civic engagement he offered me, lots without a work. I accepted and loved doing to represent the borough. Ken was a real gentleman, likes of whom we shall not see again. His font of knowledge and wisdom was sadly lost. Nothing was ever too much trouble. God bless you, Ken, on your new journey. It was an honour and a privilege to have served under you. Rest in peace.
Councillor Clark. I'm now asking if anybody else wants to speak. And councillor Mike Whiting has actually indicated. Would you like to speak?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. I wasn't going to speak tonight, but as we've heard, Ken was indeed a role model. He had a massive sense of humour. He had boundless integrity. And he had, if he was a stick of rock, he'd have Sheppey written through him. And I first met Ken nearly 50 years ago in the committee room at the 1974 elections as a young teenager. And he ruled that committee room like a rod of iron with me, as I remember, the Minster Lady Conservatives. He was indeed a mentor and an inspiration to me. And what I'll say is my deepest sympathies to Mick.
I'm sorry, I wasn't going to say anything about today. I looked at the father of Swan Council. He was the person that I would always go to. Anything you wanted to know, he was there. But unlike many grandfathers, he was moving with the times all the time. And I just know that recently that many members of probably may not know this, but even the day before his death, we were trying to work out how we could get a tablet to him because he wanted to be at this council meeting tonight. And he was so dedicated to this and wanted tonight.
Councillor Hunt. Silence. No members of let's take an adjournment for 10 minutes to enable members to sign the book of condolence and reflect on Councillor Ingleton's life and work. Back in 2 minutes.